Wake up, wake up. We're going to be late for our first day of homeschool. Hurry! Get up. We're late for our first day of homeschool. Come on. Come on. Get your bag. Here's your book bag. Get it. Hurry. Don't forget your shoes. Hurry. Hurry, the bus man's almost here.
Okay.
All right, let's go. Bus is here.
Morning, kids.
Morning.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel Journey to a Simple Life. We have had a ton of family and friends and even YouTubers that follow us that have asked for advice and even some tips on homeschooling. I know the world is kind of crazy right now, and there's actually a lot of people pursuing homeschooling right now, which kind of makes me excited because I think it's looked down upon by a lot of people. So today I'm going to give you my 5 top tips to new and current homeschool moms or dads. Tip number 1 is don't stress. One thing you have to ask yourself is, why am I homeschooling? For us, we realize that time is very valuable, and we almost lost our son 3 years ago, and we realized that at any moment your family can be stripped from you. And it's so easy to be like, we know we aren't guaranteed tomorrow, but when your own child is on their deathbed, it really kind of opens up your eyes to the reality that life can be really short. So for us, it was just, we wanted more time with our kids. It was a huge sacrifice for us to go from 2 incomes to 1, but the time that you gain with your family is something that you can never get back. And our kids are only little for so long, and when they become adults, I hope to still have a wonderful relationship with my kids, but I want to say that I invested all my time and energy in them while they were young. Another way to make it not stressful is to make it fun. Be creative. It's not just about the books. Use the things that they have to learn through games. Take it outside. There's a lot of times that we'll go sit on the trampoline and do school, or we'll sit right here at this picnic table and do school. It doesn't have to be all just books. Make it fun, make it enjoyable, and make it memorable. Lastly, I want you to remember that you are qualified. God created us as parents. When He blessed us with our kids, He qualified us to teach and lead by example. And so I want you to remind yourself that when you're down, because there are times in your life when you are homeschooling that you're going to question, is what I'm doing right for my kids? Are they learning what they need to learn? Am I going to mess them up for college? Believe it or not, you're probably going to teach your kids more things through homeschool if you do it the right way. There are a lot of people who do what I like to call no school homeschool. But if you do it the right way, your kids are going to learn so many more valuable things other than just book work. that most kids don't get in public school. And a lot of colleges actually give more scholarships to homeschoolers these days because they realize that their mind has learned so much more outside of just the academics. They got social skills, they have life skills that just most kids don't have these days, especially with electronics. Also being organized, which leads me to tip number 2. Set a simple and realistic schedule. Homeschool does not have to be like real school, and that's a mistake that I made when I first started almost 5 years ago. When my daughter was in public school, I subbed, and so I kind of saw the schedules that they did in school. And when we decided to homeschool, I kind of set up just like school. We started at a specific time. We made sure we were not late. We took breaks. We did music time. I literally set up to where it took us all day long. It does not have to be that way. One thing that I learned when subbing is it really only takes a couple hours of actual learning, book work, and the rest is just all fun and play. So for us, we get our book work done in about an hour and a half to 3 hours max, depending on how quick the kids work. And then the rest of our day is ours to enjoy and have fun. So I wanted to expand a little bit on our set schedule. I know a lot of people have asked, how long does it normally take you? We started something a little bit different. We now go year round, and that's for several reasons. So the way our schedule works is, like I said, we normally start between 8 and 9, and we're always done by lunchtime, always. But we only do school 4 days a week. Monday through Thursday is when we do our academics, all of our book work. Friday is what I like to call elective day. The kids love to do things like woodwork, crafts, art, cooking, and instead of trying to shuffle that in on a regular school day, we have now made Friday our elective day. And as you see in my schedule, I pick what that elective is, whether it's cooking, woodwork, or whatever, and we go ahead and plan ahead of time what we're gonna do. That way I can go to the store and get everything that I need and not have to stress and hustle just to appease and please the kids. So we go 4 days a week. Friday is our elective day, and then we go 4 weeks on, 1 week off. Like I said, we are going year round, and it just makes it a pretty simple and realistic schedule to have every Friday off. And after 4 full weeks, having 1 week off is when we go and we have family time. It could be makeup work, depending on if they got behind. We live out in the middle of nowhere, far away from all of our family. So that is a week that they can look forward to maybe go stay and see family. And it kind of gives me a week to grade all the work, to regroup for the next month. Sometimes if we just say we're going to do school Monday through Friday and it's going to be this, this, and this, it becomes very monotonous. It becomes very tiring. And I feel like as moms, that's the great thing about homeschooling, is we can set up any schedule we want to work with our schedule. And so that's what we wanted to do, because I feel like it's something that is realistic. It gives us goals, and it also gives us something to look forward to, which is a week of regrouping and maybe going to spend time with family. Also, plan and organize. That is one thing that I have to remind myself, is as a parent and a teacher, I do have to set aside a time and a day to plan for the school year. Now I don't plan the entire year, because to me that's not really realistic. I plan kind of 1 month at a time, but I get all of our binders organized, and I make it simple. You don't have to have a lot of things to homeschool, just your books and a few other extra fun things to make it your own. Another thing that I organize is meals. So when we first started homeschooling, I would just kind of let the kids choose what they wanted for lunch, and it became very chaotic as a mom, because when you're spending half your morning teaching your kids, the last thing you want to have to worry about is what kid wants what, and having to prepare and plan 2 separate meals plus your own meal. So that is one thing that I plan, is I plan out their meals, which you'll see in my calendar, and that's basically to just simplify each day, so I'm not having to argue or stress on who wants what. It's like school. You don't get a choice. This is your only choice. And they actually seem to like it, because it gives them something to look forward to, like nacho day or pizza day or whatever. So setting a simple and realistic schedule is very vital. Tip number 3 is going to be curriculum. When I first started homeschooling, I reached out to a lot of family and friends who homeschooled, and I would ask what they what curriculum they used. I was homeschooled when I was younger. Of course, back in that day, there was only like 4 or 5 different types of curriculum, and now there's probably hundreds. I would encourage, if you're interested in curriculums, research, talk to family, talk to friends who you know who homeschool, and then research and see exactly how they teach. So, I basically just went off what my family and friends said, and I bought the books, and the books are not cheap. And then once I got them, I realized either my kids don't like them, I don't like the way that they teach, they weren't structured enough, or they were too far advanced. So make sure you do your research on the curriculum when you get feedback from different people. Don't just take someone's word, because what works for one family and one kid may not work for you and your family. I do want to show you the curriculum that we use, which is ACE PACE. It's taken me 3 years to find a curriculum that I love, and that's one thing that you probably will go through is trying out different types of curriculum, which if you can find some hand-me-downs from other people, that is the best way I say to start, so you're not spending hundreds of dollars on curriculum that you don't like or that you're not going to use again. We use ACE PACE, and it is a Christian-based curriculum. One thing that I love is it's not one giant thick book. To me, when you see one giant book, it sets a very high standard, and it causes a lot of stress for kids, because all they see is how many pages are in that book. At least that's what my kids do. How many pages are in this book? And it also is hard to determine how many pages do you do to make sure you get through that book through the end of the year, because most books don't tell you. And as a homeschool mom and someone who's not a teacher, I always struggled with how many pages do we do? I don't want to get behind, but I don't want to get so far ahead that I'm rushing what they learn. Are they even retaining what they learn? Because a lot of the curriculums that I had bought did not have any tests or quizzes, so I never even knew if my kids were obtaining and understanding before we moved to the next level. Great thing about ACE PACE is it comes with 12 different booklets for each subject, and they're little bitty books. They come between 30 and 40 pages each. We do about 5 pages a day in each subject, so we can normally finish 2 books a month, which means if we stay on that schedule, we can finish a grade in 6 months, okay? Another thing I like about them is, like I said, it's a simple goal. When they have little books, simple goal. They're like, oh, 30 pages, that's nothing. I can get through that, right? Another great thing about this curriculum is it's set up with quizzes and checkups. So as you get through so many pages, there's a checkup. And it's basically to see if the kids have understood what they learned in the previous pages. Then, about halfway through the book, if you open it up, there is a test. And I go ahead, when I get all 12 books, I go ahead and pull all these little bitty tests out, because these tests are actually a final test for each little booklet. So you have like 2 or 3 checkups within each little book, which is great because, like I said, it helps you to see if your kids are retaining, and if they haven't, that means you can kind of review and go back over what they didn't learn. Then at the very last page is a self-test. It's basically a review over the entire book before they take the final test. So there's several different steps to make sure your kids are understanding each book before you move to the next book. Love that. To me, that is vitally important, because as a homeschool mom, you want to make sure your kids are understanding, and you want to make sure that you're not going too fast for them, because sometimes if we go too fast, then they struggle and then they hate school. So awesome books. Another thing about this curriculum, there's like 7 different subjects, and of course we have a 7th grader and a 4th grader, and last year I made the mistake of, oh, you're older, we need more subjects. So I bought Bible, I bought history, I bought science, literature and creative writing. They had 7 subjects, and it took us till almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon to finish all those subjects, because I had 2 kids in 2 separate grades, and I was having to teach them 7 different subjects. What I'm doing this year is I am teaching the main subjects. There's only 3: math, English, and word building. And then things like English, history, writing, all that other stuff, Bible, we do together as a family. There's not a specific grade that they need to learn for things like that. It's something that we can sit down at the table together, discuss, have fun, and it changes the pace of just doing a book. So definitely research what curriculum, if someone tells you what they like, check into it and see if it's something that's going to work for you. But I'm going to go and tell you, Ace Pace is one that several people have gotten hooked on because, like I say, it's simple, it's laid out for you, and it's a self-taught book. So if you as a parent don't remember how to teach something or don't remember something, these books explain step by step for us who don't remember. Tip number 4 is teaching multiple kids, and I struggled with this probably the last 3 years, trying to figure out how the heck do you teach a kindergartner and a 3rd grader. And you know, when the kids are younger, it's a lot harder because there's so many core things that a kid has to learn. Reading, you know what I mean, is so hard. You have to get them through all those basic things before they kind of become independent. Now that my kids are older, it's a lot easier. What I learned is kind of play around with your schedule. Maybe teach one kid the first half of the day and then the other kid the second half of the day, or teach them at the same time and just tell them that if you have a question, let me know and I'll help you. And sometimes they're going to have questions at the same time, but I figure it's a great time to teach your kids patience. Either give them something to do, some cards to play with, some blocks to play with, something to color, and to keep them patient while you're helping the other child. Now that my kids are older, my oldest daughter loves to help her younger siblings. So when he has questions, she'll ask if she can help him. And at first, I didn't like that because I was like, "No, you're just trying to get out of your schooling. You need to focus on your school." But then I was reminded this is so good and a teaching lesson for our kids to help and jump in to teach their younger siblings. So take advantage of every opportunity when it comes to teaching multiple kids. Let the older kids help. If you have a spouse that can help, let your spouse help. We work on a high fence ranch, and so we help my husband work on the ranch, and there are days that sometimes he'll come in and be like, "Hey, I'll teach one kid." That's not the case for everybody, but just make sure you don't stress over teaching multiple kids. Teach your kids patience if they need help at the same time, and help them work together through things. Also, I would encourage reaching out to other homeschool moms and get their feedback on what they do, because everyone has different ways of doing things, and it's so great to hear the different opinions and then kind of create your own plan of action when teaching your kids. Tip number 5 is utilize homeschool co-ops and other homeschool moms. There is an organization called Texas Homeschool Coalition, and it's thsc.org. And I tell you, it is one of the greatest things for me, especially because we live out in the middle of nowhere and there is not a co-op here. One thing that I love about it is it protects you as a parent and your rights to homeschool. So if anyone ever tries to come after you, you're protected by the Texas Homeschool Coalition. Now there is a price. It's $120 a year for your family, or $1,000 for a lifetime fee. So for those of you who have like 5 and 6 kids and you're homeschooling all your kids, you may definitely want to do the lifetime plan. It comes with great benefits. It helps hook you up with homeschool co-ops within your community. It helps give you feedback and different types of homeschool curriculums. It gives you 24-hour support. It gives you tests and quizzes. It even gives you attendance charts and grade books, which we bought our own grade books, but it gives you all these resources as a homeschool mom that you can really take advantage of. Like I said, there is a fee each year, but for all the resources that you get, it's less than what you spend on curriculum for your kids that go to public school. Also, the great thing about co-ops is your kids get socialism. They're meeting other homeschool kids, and you as a mom, you have an opportunity to talk to other homeschool moms and get feedback and share your hearts with one another, your struggles with one another, and are able to help lift each other up. Also, through the homeschool co-ops, there's a lot of different sports. That is one thing a lot of parents ask, well, what do your kids do for sports? There's all kinds of sports. You not only have city sports, but the Homeschool Coalition has different types of programs for kids that want to be involved in sports. And if there's nothing near you, we do things like just find the local gymnastics place or the local karate place and plug your kids in areas like that. Connection is key to homeschool. Thank you guys so much for watching. For all those that had questions, I hope I was able to answer the majority of your questions that you've had about homeschooling. I will be doing another video with 5 top advantages of homeschooling, which I'm really looking forward to. For those that are questioning if this is something that you want to do, I would encourage you to pray about it and remind yourself that you are definitely qualified to do this. You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, but all those good days are going to outweigh every single bad day. And I can guarantee that when you look back through all the good and the bad, that you are going to be thankful that you did this for you, for your kids, for your family. It's a blessing to be able to teach your kids whatever you want, and also invest in things that they want to learn. I hope I was able to answer all of your questions. If you have any more questions, go ahead and comment below, and I will try to answer them or send you to the right resources. I hope you all have a blessed day, and we will see you in the next video.